All right, Road America. First time in the Ray. Fun track. I really like this track. It is deceptively more difficult than you think it is. It looks pretty innocent, but it is not. I know this is the Charlotte background. I accidentally loaded the wrong session to pull up my setup, my garage. Um, so, ride height, minus 15 in the front, not as low as it goes. There's a lot of corner cutting to do here, and so the ride height, yeah, not quite as low as it goes. ARB, of course, is 0. Damper compression is 20. Brake bias, 58%. I think that actually is my new norm. Um, Brake bias is an individual thing. There's a lot of downhill braking here, though, surprisingly downhill braking. So we'll talk about that when we get on track, but you may want it a little higher than what your normal brake bias is. Spring rates, soft as they go, front and back, 22 Newton meters. Camber, minus 1.4 on the left, minus 1.3 on the right. Go with 1.4 for both if you don't want to change them up. And toe is 1.4, so it's turned up pretty high. You need a lot of turn in also to get some heat in the tires. A lot of straightaways here, so getting heat into the tires is pretty important. Spring rates again low as they go in the rear. Camber 1.3 on the left, 1.2 on the right. Again, go with the higher value if you don't want to mix them up. And toe in 0.4 in the rear. Again, tire temp is a little harder to get because of all these straightaways. And in the rear, let's find the rear or the back, the bottom. Ride height minus 14, so just one notch higher in the rear just to get that rake. ARB is 5. I think iRacing had it set at 0. You do need rotation in the car. 5 is good. You may want to try 10 if you want the car to rotate a bit more, but there's a lot of high speed corners, a lot of long high speed corners. So I find the ARB at 5 is a little more comfortable. If you like the back end getting a little bit more rotation, a little easier to lose, certainly go with a 10. Fuel is 14 liters. You're going to need the 14 liters if you're in a bottom split and the lap times aren't good. You could maybe get away with 13, but 14 is what you need. Gear stack. iRacing has it at very tall. This is again another one of those tricky situations. You do reach the rev limit towards the end of the straights. There's two big straights here. And but tall I find is faster. Now is that gonna bite me on in a race? We'll have to wait and see. But I'm going with tall for now. But very tall might be something you have to go to in a race. All right. So let's get into the guide itself. Track is 19. I've been in a few practice sessions. 19, 21 degrees seems to be where it's at. 44% usage, so that's actually pretty nice. So do a 21.8. So coming into turn 1, fourth gear obviously at the rev limit, of course. Yeah. So we'll see if that is an issue or not. So looking to brake between the 1 and the 3 board or cone. Actually, just after the 3, I guess. In real time, it looks more like the middle, but in slow-mo, it's just after the 3. Pretty hard on the brakes, not super hard on the brakes. Shifting down into third, and again, it's important to get the car slowed, get the car turned in, so you can get on the gas before the apex. Get onto these curbs. Really important to get onto the curb here. Otherwise, you're going to run wide. If you battle for this corner, you're going to lose a tremendous amount of time. The cars behind you will catch up quickly. So watch out for that. It is a big passing opportunity into this corner, though. Get onto the rumble pavement here, but make sure you do not touch the sand. If you get the sand, it is an X, which is not a big deal in a race. However, your quality lap is obviously going to be ruined. I just got away with that one. So up into fourth and looking to break between the 2 and the 1 board, closer to the 1 board, I guess. You can brake later into this one, however, it is going to cost you on exit, and this is a big straight, so make sure, unless you're battling for this corner again, which is going to cost you a lot of time, the cars behind you will catch up. So if you're not battling for this corner, brake early, get on the gas early. So turning in just past that tree, you can actually use that tree as a brake marker. You can brake as late as that tree for sure, but it is going to cost you on exit. So second gear, releasing the brakes, turning in, and again, to go fast, getting onto the throttle before the apex, so kind of just before the apex there, getting on the throttle. Probably could have gone on there just a little bit earlier. And then again, use all of the track on exit. You can use that rumble pavement, and again, just watch out, don't touch that sand. It is an X. In a race, not a big deal, but that's your quality lap ruined. So obviously this is going to be a big battle here, drafting and battling for this next corner. So we'll go into this corner as if you're going to do it fast and not battle. So just before the 2 board, in real time it looks like I'm kind of at the 2 board, getting hard on the brakes. Now you want the car lined up towards this yellow advertisement on the barrier here. You do want to go into this pavement past the curb. You don't get an X for that, and it does open it up quite a bit. Very hard on the brake. Well, yeah, very hard on the brakes. Down into second gear, and yeah, getting into this cement area. It's not an X for some reason. I don't know why. And then releasing the brakes, turning in, and picking up the throttle as early as possible. Get onto these curbs. And then yeah, picking up the throttle. Now on exits, this is pretty forgiving. You can get onto the asphalt here. There's no X for that, just don't get on the sand. You don't really want to run that wide, I find. It's hard to get back on track, especially without getting an X. But getting onto the rumble strips here of the pavement, that's kind of ideal. And there's no issue with that, crossing onto that. And then working your way up into third. You could hold it in second, however I find getting up into third for a short time is faster. So this one, just you could use this little cement barrier up here as a marker just before the bridge, basically. Shifting down into second, getting on the brakes. This is a very tricky corner. It's harder than it looks. You'll see a lot of people spin out here. So not a lot of brakes. You want to carry a lot of speed in here, but just enough to slow the car down. And then picking up the throttle again, nice and early. That's going to settle the back end as well. Get the weight shifted to the rear because it is very easy to spin out here. Be careful with this one. And yeah, you can use all of the rumble strips on exit. So up into third again, and then looking for the change in the barrier here on the left. That's basically the turn in. This is full throttle. Even on cold tires, you can do this full throttle. Get onto the curb. You don't want to run wide, however, otherwise you will be braking. And then, yeah, just getting over to the left, use all the curb on exit, and get yourself over to the right, up into fourth. This one going to be a lot of battling for this corner too. Looking for the 2 board in fourth gear, hard on the brakes, down into second gear, very hard on the brakes. All of these braking zones I didn't mention, really watch out the grass on the right here. You have to make sure you don't touch it. If you touch it, you are going to spin and die. So watch out for that. Up to the edge of the grass, but do not get on it. Hard on the brakes. And then again, releasing the brakes as you turn in, and this one again, very tricky corner. If you are still on the brakes at this point and you're turning the wheel, you are going to spin out. And picking up the throttle, again nice and early, and just to get the weight back onto the rear tires. And on exit, again, just getting onto the curb, and you can use those rumble strips. So up into third, and you want to turn in tight here. Get right up against the grass here, obviously without going on it. And then once you're kind of just coming around the bend here, you'll just have to practice it. Just starting to lift a little bit. You do not want to be sliding wide here. If you are keeping on the throttle, you're going to push wide and you're going to really slow down because you'll be sliding sideways, and you'll have to lift in order to keep it on track. So just managing the throttle, and then once you get you're looking for this green fence, the cement barrier here. Now we're starting to look at turning back in. Once you can see this, I don't even know what this is, an outhouse or something. Once you can see this and it's clear of the barriers, now you're starting to think about getting back onto full power, getting the car turned in. Again, keep that tire really tight up against the white line, get onto this curb, and we're at full throttle because it is a long stretch of full throttle. And you really have to get a good exit here, otherwise it's going to cost you a lot in the long run. So getting onto the curb here, just to open it up a bit more. Between the 2 and the 1, I kind of turned in here maybe just a little late. You do turn in a little bit earlier than you think. Get onto this curb just to cut the corner. I didn't quite get on there quite enough. There is a little bit of a lift there, but if you do it right, it is full throttle. And yeah, you can use the black strip here on the left. No X for that. Big passing opportunity here, big battle again. Whoop, kind of missed that. So, looking for the 3 board. Braking at the 3 board, 4th gear. In real time, it looks like I'm at the 3 board. In slow-mo, obviously, before. Hard on the brakes, down into 2nd, and then releasing the brakes as you turn in. And again, very important to cut this corner. Actually getting onto the sand patch here. No X for that, as long as you keep a tire on the track. And it's really important to cut that corner. If you don't, you are going to push wide, and that sand is going to come at you, and you're going to have to lift and all that bad stuff. So yeah, get on to the rumble strips here, and again, this one's easy to catch too. Make sure you are not touching that sand. Up into 3rd, and a little earlier than you think before the end of the curbs here, turning in 3rd gear, full throttle. You don't have to lift. Now leaving it in 3rd, you could go up into 4th, especially if you're drafting. That might be a little quicker. Basically, there's a white line crossing the track here. That is a good marker, but basically it's just a couple of car lengths before the change in color of this pavement. So yeah, a bit of brake, not too hard on the brakes. Down into 2nd gear, you do want to roll in here, carrying as much speed as you can. You just have to get the car turned in, and then picking up the throttle just to keep the weight on the back end there, so you're not going to spin out. This one is easy to spin out as well, and it's also easy to come into hot and run wide, and it is going to cost you a tremendous amount of time. For your quali lap, you have to nail this, because if you don't, it will cost you into your next lap. And getting on the rumble strips there, and just working up the gear. Now normally as soon as I hit the blue, I like to shift up. However, coming up this hill, it is a pretty steep hill. I do like to hold it in 3rd just till you get kind of to the top of the hill there, just to give it a little extra grunt. And yeah, that's a 21.8. My optimum is a 21.4, but it's a long lap, lots of corners, lots of sectors. It's hard to lace it all together in one good solid lap. So hopefully that helps you out. I will run this out at full speed and we'll see you next time.